woke up with St Paul still standing. And what they allowed to happen on the 29th of December 1940, when London was very heavily bombed, they let everything around St Paul's burn down, which is why virtually all the buildings here are modern. And the other church to burn down is on your left-hand side, Christchurch Greyfriars. Now this is one of the most haunted churches in London. It's haunted by royalty, believe it or not. So this is Christchurch Greyfriars, well known for the garden. And the tower has an 11-storey apartment which sold for £4 million 2 years ago. Roll it round and then we're going to go left. On your right-hand side, this little park here, Postman's Park, famously appeared in a movie called Closer, because if you go inside there's a memorial to those who've given their lives to save their fellow man. And that includes a girl called Alice Ayres. Yeah, we're going towards the Barbican field. Left. So, I don't know if you saw the movie. Jude Law was in it, including Natalie Portman and Clive Owen. The Museum of London, everything to do with the history of London on your right-hand side. So 2,000 years of Roman history. Before the Romans, what we have is sort of not a settlement here, really. We have little areas, and they use the Thames as an area of worship, to worship the river gods. Off to the right, the Barbican. And the Barbican is one of the main residential areas within the city, the square mile as we call it. You're going left to the lights. The square mile has just 8,000 residents. The majority of them live here in the Barbican, which is a very popular area to live, but they have little yellow painted lines everywhere, so it's like following the yellow brick road to find yourself around the Barbican. It's also where you've got the Barbican Art Gallery, and there's theatres here as well, so it's very much to do with the arts and entertainment. But the area that we're going to go and have a quick look at, normally we don't, but it's a Sunday, and I think we can get away with it today, is down to an area we call Smithfield. Now Smithfield is famous today for its meat market. The meat market, really, vans start arriving at 7 p.m. in the evening. The market takes place during the night, and it's all over, done and dusted by 5 a.m. After which you'll find the porters in the pub, because the pubs down here open really early, usually about sort of 6 a.m, 7 a.m, and you can come and have steak and eggs and beer in the morning if you want. By the way, if you guys like food, this is probably one of the best areas for food in town, because all the meat comes from the meat market, and they've got some very famous restaurants. We're going there. She's oblivious. Yeah, sorry, she's oblivious. So you've got a lot of restaurants along this area. So you've got quite a lot of famous restaurants. We also got some really interesting pubs down here as well. The Rising Sun pub is one of them. The Fox and Anchor is a very nice pub, sort of a 1930s Art Deco pub, but lots, as I say, of restaurants as well. So you'll find them in this area. The market is immediately on your right-hand side, the meat market. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn left, and we're going to stop because you've got the entrance to a church, St Bartholomew the Great, and the church is probably not this one, the next one. The church is one of the oldest in London. It dates back to 1123, but it's always in the movies. If you saw Elizabeth, this was where Samantha Morton, who played Mary Queen of Scots, was beheaded within the church. It stood in for Fotheringhay Castle. Wow. It's also used in Sherlock Holmes. It was in Four Weddings and a Funeral, where Hugh Grant is punched in the face by Duckface. So the church itself is fairly unusual. So what we're going to do is just going to stop wherever we can. There's not actually anybody down there. And if you want to take some photographs, you can, because straight through the arch that's ahead of us will take you into the graveyard of St Bartholomew the Great. It's also here off to the right hand side where you'll see a memorial to a certain Scotsman. So if any of you have seen a really bad movie called Braveheart, starring Mel Gibson, William Wallace was one of these great Scottish freedom fighters at the end of the 13th, beginning of the 14th century, but he was hung, and the door is on the right hand side to get out. There's another door on the right. So if you guys want to go out and get some pictures, do? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Wakey wakey. Anybody?
Yes.
So you'll get the William Wallace on the right, he was hung, drawn and quartered, the first man to be hung, drawn and quartered in this country. We thought it up just for him. So you'll see that on the right hand side, so Bartholomew the Great straight ahead. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to take some photos.